Request to be short, don't just cut to the chase, just tell me, okay? And Mom?
My mom wanted lots and lots of information about how you felt about it and all that stuff.
Aha! Wanted lots of information. Okay, is it possible that you could have somebody like Bert's mother and somebody like Bert's father on the same jury? Absolutely. So what do? We do both. Precisely. We do both. So we can cut to the chase and we can go through the details. All right? And because we all know that effective speech giving is to tell them what you're going to tell them, then tell it to them, and then tell them what you told them. Well, in essence, yeah, that is what we do. So you can find different ways of telling people different things. And when we're standing in front of a group, do we want to make eye contact with individuals? Yeah, we do want to make eye contact. Good. Okay. Sending, receiving. Okay. How do we know if they've received it if we can't see their eyes? Okay, if you haven't seen eyes, there's a problem. So, can we look directly at the person that we know needs to be persuaded to go into a little narrow gray area? Okay, can we find that sweet spot gray area for that person? Can we look at that person? Can we continue throughout our opening and closing, of course, to be able to go through those areas? Can we construct our cross-examination so that they are going to fulfill that and support what it is that we're talking about? Absolutely, that's what we can do. Okay, so now we know we can do all of those things, right? And we can, but that means that we have to know what we're going to do, right? We have to be prepared. What does preparation mean? Let's talk about that for a second. Preparation means a couple of different things. Does it mean that we write out our opening and we stand up in front of it and we read it? Yes, no, maybe? Does it mean we write out our opening and stand up in front of people and read it?
No.
No? Thank you. Thank you very much. This is a participatory thing, but I think. No, we don't do that. Why don't we do that? It's reading. What's rule number 1? What did I just go through? Rule number 1? Yeah, I've got to talk to people. If I'm standing up there reading everything, who am I talking to? Absolutely. Absolutely. It gives absolutely nothing. And then you have to work really, really hard to try and glean some information. Okay? We don't want that. So you can't do that. However, does that mean that you don't write out your opening ever? No. So yes, we have to start out. Preparation is a many-step process. This is what I suggest, okay? It's a suggestion. Use it if it works for you. I think it really works, especially now that we have, computers and everybody just works on the computer, is to sit down and think stream of consciousness. Okay, what is it that I really want to say here? Not what do I want to say first, or how do I want to end it necessarily, but what do I want to say? And you start writing along there, and you're having this thing, and you're visualizing the people that you're speaking to, and you're writing out this whole thing, and somewhere around page 3, you realize that's how I need to start. So what do? Because you have cut and paste, right? So you just do this little cut and paste thing, and there you are. Great. So you've got, all right, now if I start out that way, what am I going to want to say at the end? What is the last thing that I want to leave in your minds? Okay. So somewhere along there you figure it out and you write that. So you get your whole thing written out. Then what I suggest is you print that, and I suggest you read it out loud. Okay? To yourself. But you read it out loud, because as you're reading it, you're beginning to say, gee, these words, I'm kind of stumbling over them. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. What am I really trying to say here? What's the image that I'm trying to say? Okay, so you go through that and you get comfortable with it. And after you've read it 2 or 3 times, what happens is you begin to internalize it. Then what I suggest is you turn that over and you say, okay, what are the blocks? What are the elements here of what I'm covering? So, and how do they connect to each other? How does that work? Okay, now by this point, once I understand what those blocks are and how they connect to each other, then that begins to make a little bit of sense. Then this is what I really suggest beyond that. Once you understand what this case is all about, then you say, okay, what is my theme? What am I really trying to say here? I'm comfortable with it. I understand the facts. I can flow with this thing. I've been able to talk to friends. I've been able to do this to my husband, to my wife, to my sister, to my brother, whoever. You've been able to go through this kind of quickly. Now you're really at the place where now you're ready to start your book. Okay? And now I want you to ask a few questions of yourself. Say this. What is it that I want those jury members, those individuals to say about me, about my client, about my case when they go into the deliberation room? What is it that I want them to say? Well, you don't have any control over that, do you? You do have control over that, because what you give them is what they